Hi, how are you friends BTS lovers? We don't know him anymore. BTS's Jungkook's parents open up after 10 years of silence. The real Jungkook that ARMY never knew. That one sentence alone is enough to shake the K-pop universe. The words came not from haters, not from anonymous netizens on online forums, but from the two people who knew Jungkook best since he was running around in the hallway of their tiny house in Busan, his own real father and mother. After more than a decade of silence and choosing to keep the privacy of their son, who is now a global icon, finally both decided to raise their voices. And what they reveal is not the sweet story you usually see in BTS documentaries. Not a perfect narrative rewritten by Korean entertainment media. This is the other side of Jungkook, the painful, shocking, and for some, perhaps even unacceptable side. Jungkook is not only the magne of BTS, not only the owner of a golden voice that captivates the world, not just a man with a visual that is considered unreal by his fans. He is the son of two parents who witnessed firsthand how extreme changes took away the person they gave birth to and raised. Change that in the eyes of the world is called success, but in their eyes is a loss. And that's why this article is not just news. It's a warning, a confession, and at the same time a naked honesty that strips Jungkook of a lens you never imagined before, the lens of his own family. No HYB management could censor their speech this time. There is no script. There are no censors. Just a taste of oh, you really know Jungkook? Are you ready to face the reality that might destroy your ideal image of her? They sat side by side in a worn dark brown wooden chair in the living room of the small house where Jungkook grew up. Behind them, the walls of the house are still filled with old photos. Little Jungkook holding a toy microphone, wearing a red hoodie, his eyes shining full of dreams. But today, there is a void behind the photographs. Their smiles were stiff, and the first words that came out of the father felt like a quiet explosion that no one was ready to hear. Our son is missing. Not physically missing. Of course they knew Jungkook was in Seoul, in a dorm, in a studio, or maybe on a plane to America. It's not literally gone, but lost as a person, as Gucky, a spoiled nickname that they used to say every night before going to bed. The person who used to peep from behind the door of the room just to say, Appa, I love Appa. Now, even to just call on his father's birthday, he often forgets that Jungkook's mother, who has been known to be very quiet and prefers to stay behind the scenes, added in a low but sharp voice, Jungkook is no longer my son. He belongs to the world now, but the world doesn't know how much it has to sacrifice who it is just to be remembered by you. Then story after story flowed, and it was all heart-rending. Jungkook, before becoming Golden Magne, before the name Jungkook became a global slogan, and before Golden Magne became a nickname plastered on Times Square billboards, he was just a quiet boy who was afraid of the sound of thunder. Jungkook's mother told how her son often hid under the dining table during heavy rain or asked to be accompanied to bed because of nightmares. He is very sensitive. Not weak, yes, but the feelings are deep. Sometimes he can cry just because he sees parents on TV hugging each other. He always said, I want to stay with Yama and Appa. Never get old. Ironic, isn't it? The child who used to be afraid of separation from his parents now has to face the world alone, live a nonstop schedule, silence pain, hide tears behind camera lenses, and smile when the world demands it to be perfect. In fact, behind all that, he is still a child who once fell from a bicycle and immediately hugged his mother while sobbing. We weren't ready to let go at 13. Age 13 years. That was the age when Jungkook left Busan to pursue his dream in Seoul. At an age when other children are still learning to tie their own shoelaces, Jungkook must learn to live independently. Not because he wanted to, but because the K-pop industry system never cared whether someone was a child or not. Most importantly, they have the potential to sell. Jungkook's father admitted, we refused. But the company is too strong. They come with sweet promises. We're just ordinary people. What can we do then? With teary eyes, the mother added, I still remember the night before he left. She was crying in the corner of the room, not going to sleep. He said, I'm afraid of Emma. Don't let them take me. But we thought it was just a momentary anxiety. We were wrong. And this is the beginning of everything. The beginning of a great change. The beginning of the loss of the Jungkook figure they knew. Only 8 calls a year. That's when forced. As BTS began to skyrocket, communication between Jungkook and his parents began to slowly break down. At first there were still weekly calls, then monthly, then only on birthdays. But now, even when his father had to be treated for a minor heart attack, Jungkook could only send a short message through the manager. Tell my dad I'm busy touring. But I wish you a speedy recovery. That's it. That's not the Jungkook we know, the mother said softly. What exactly happened? Has Jungkook really changed? Or has the South Korean entertainment industry printed an entertainment robot that no longer knows its roots of identity? The father once even made a direct request to HYB, asking that Jungkook could come home just 2 days, to see the dying grandfather. But management refused. Too risky for the image, they say. The grandfather died 3 days later. And Jungkook did not have time to say goodbye. Not because he didn't want to, but because the world wouldn't let him. This statement sticks out again and again in long interviews with Jungkook's parents. That in fact, they do not blame their son entirely. They blame the world. They blame the system. Imagine, how does it feel to know that your child is crying because of a sore throat, but has to keep singing and dancing for 2 whole hours? And you can only see him through the screen, without being able to hug or comfort him. Because if you appear in public, management will be angry. They want to keep the image that Jungkook has no family, just fans, the father said, his voice beginning to tremble. And here lies the greatest irony of the entertainment world. A boy grows up in front of the camera, but loses himself behind the stage. He is loved by millions, but cut off from the most basic love, the love of his own family. Is Jungkook happy? This question hovered between the now silent living rooms. Jungkook's mother stared out the window, trying to hold back the tears. Sometimes I see him smiling on TV. But the smile did not reach the eyes. That's not the Jungkook smile I know. Not my son's sincere smile. I know, because I'm his mother. His father just shook his head. I think he's tired. But he was too afraid to disappoint the world. And here is the rarely discussed curse of fame. Jungkook probably had everything: money, popularity, international recognition. But is he happy? Or is he just living life like a machine, constantly producing happiness for others while himself empty?